Okay, I think we got it on track now. Can you guys see my mouse moving? Yes? Alright, can you hear me? That would be cool. Is all good, Don?
You're up now. I don't know what the deal was with that.
It's YouTube.
Okay.
Nothing yet? Can see and hear you. Alright, we fixed it.
Yay.
It was
Hi, everyone.
It was YouTube. Go back downstairs. Alright.
Why do you make me stay in my hole?
I've
been a good boy.
go. I had been talking for a few minutes and I looked at the chat and I was like, how come no one's paying any attention to me? And then I realized there must be a problem. So let's start again. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue, and I am from OML Embroidery. And now that we've started, we're going to have a question time. So it should be pretty fun. The last one went really well. I was really, really happy with it. We talked a lot about pull compensation. If you guys want to talk about that as well. So welcome back to all of our regular viewers and welcome to the new viewers. I think someone asked that and everyone who was new put up their name. That's fantastic. Love to see you and welcome. Now this is going to be really fun. We love doing these ones, so I'm kind of flying off the cuff, so if I can't answer something right away, Dawn will make a note and we'll post it in the OML Embroidery University Facebook group, because I can't always get my brain around it. I have sugar and caffeine, so that should help a whole lot. So this is me here. I don't look like that. Here we go. We're going to go to a blank screen. Now, in the OML Embroidery University Facebook group, people were asking questions. So one of the ones that I remember was, how do you put lettering around a word? So in this software, now remember, I'm working in this software, which is Perfect Embroidery Professional by Dime. I really like it. I think it does a lot more things than people realize. It's easy to use. I love how it's set out. And I love over here on the right-hand side, I love that you can have add-ons. And one of my favorite add-ons on there is lace, my lace maker. And I'm just going to give you guys a quick tour of that. People were asking about it. So, okay, the first question that I remember seeing was, how do you put outlines to lettering? So let's do OML embroidery and click apply or hit enter, whatever you prefer. So some nice letterings. Let's put it on 3D so you guys can see it. You can pick your font. Really cool about the font in this software, you don't have to look up anything in your manual. You just hover over, and it's probably off screen a little bit, but it tells you all the available letters and it tells you the maximum and minimum height range, which is really important, and everyone forgets that it's there, but it's cool. Okay, so for outlining letters, it's got to make sure you get your pointer there. So select it, right click, and it's under utility. Now you can create border or create outline, and you can do as many as you want for it. So it's really simple. You can pick the distance away. I'm just going to leave it because we're not going to play around with it. Unite outlines. I like that. Geometric echo. That would be cool too. Join repeats, remove selection. So I'm just going to hit OK, and we have outlined lettering. Now, of course, if you move the options around and you do inside and you bring it closer, then you have really tight outline lettering. So easy to do. You can take that into your own software And, most of them will have an outline option, and you can just apply it. Outlines and offsets is the big one. An offset, it just keeps going offset from it. It'll start off with a close one and then move out. And it works pretty well. It's good. So that was one I remembered. A couple people asked questions that I already have videos for. So I'm going to point out there is like 600 videos on the channel. And go to the channel, and kind of after the title page, there is a kind of a little search button, and that searches within the channel. So try different search words. I try to keep them pretty good. But that'll help you out a lot, because the first like 5 questions, I had videos on it. So yeah, make sure with 600 videos, there's something for everyone. So, yes, Karina, I love the video that Cindy King posted. That was awesome. Thank you very much. I thought it was really cool. Hi, Jan. And who else is saying hi? Hello, everyone from Tennessee. That's from Angela. Let's see who else. Your videos are awesome and helpful. Well, thank you, Carol. And there's lots of them. And, I always encourage people, for example, these classes. You may have Hatch or Embroid or Embrilliance, but you can take whatever you learn in any of my classes and put them into your software. Okay, the tools look different. They may be located in different areas, but you can find them and they work basically the same. I try to keep everything, as simple as I can and give you guys options to make it fancier. So, I'm really only using the basic stitches, nothing that is specific to this software. So get your questions ready. Another one I remember, someone said, can you do photo stitch with this? And the answer is yes. So the first one here, Stitch Snapshots Plus. And you just do it because we're using Toolshed. Now it is an add-on, you have to purchase it. I have no idea how much it is. But I will say, if you go to a dealer or you go to one of those shows, you'll get it cheaper. They give you deals, they give you extras. So yeah, absolutely you can. It is an add-on. I've played around with it. One day I'm going to stitch one out. I just never actually get to it. And someone was asking the other day, I think, about my lace maker, which everybody knows that I love the lace. I've done a couple videos on lace, but this is an add-on, and I think you can still get a pretty good deal on it. But these are all the built-in things you can do, and there's shapes and there's a whole bunch of things. So how would you use that? All right, I'm going to show you guys a really groovy example. A sugar skull, and this is already put together, but you could do it yourself. And I want you guys to see this. Let me make it a different color. And what they've done is taken the shape of a skull, so orange, you can't miss an orange skull, the shape of the skull, and then they've added all these pieces that were in the area that I just showed you. So let's go here, bubble maybe, I'll show you, bring one in and click OK. And see, and they just flowers and made it look really good. So I think it's a cool way of doing it. Yeah, and you know what? It makes lace accessible to anybody. Now I did, I tested it and played around and I stitched. And by the way, you can use your Kingstar metallic thread for any of these. It looks amazing. But it's a great way of doing stuff. So because we're in the tool shed, and this is why they call it a tool shed, it's you don't have to switch out software. So you don't have to go and open up My Lace Maker. However, if you don't have, tool shed or anything like that, it does run by itself. I did that for the longest time. Oh, Teresa Carroll, I ordered that lace maker. I can't wait to get it in. I'm telling you guys, it will open up an entire world of embroidery. I personally love freestanding lace, but you know what? It's really hard to be able to do this and time consuming, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a whole lot of time. So let's just do something just goofy or whatever. They give you all of these, they're kind of like outlines. Oh, I see a bat. So of course it's going to be a bat. Now we're not going to do anything terribly fancy, but I just want to show you guys how easy it is to do basic lace on this. So select them, and then I'm going to go right over here. Can you guys see? It's way over to the right over here. This is where your choices are. So once I get my shape, now you don't have to use one of their shapes. You can just draw it out or use shapes. And I'm going to do lace, grid, and border. And oh, look at that. We have lace. And this would look spectacular too. One thing I always do is that I make the width a little bit bigger, usually 4. And just because that's just personal. Now, if you wanted decorations on it, you can click on it. What can we give him? Fringe, danglers, classic lace. I just want to give you guys just a quick look through. I wish these colors were brighter, but let's give him a leaf or a flower, whatever it is. He's sending flowers to you, or he's like a really cool tattooed one, and you just put it on there and change the colors. What is it? Yeah, so Don just slipped me a note. He didn't say I love you though. And then if you like that, you can just take it, and because I have Perfect Embroidery Professional, I can just do different things with it. I can move it around. I can, flip. I should have copied and pasted, but there we go. So that's how easy My Lace Maker is. I love it. I made a dash hound, and it was so cute. I stitched it out, and it was just adorable. So, I mean, this is kind of a groovy bat. But you can decorate it with a whole bunch of circles. You can put a face on them. You can put lettering. Lettering goes perfectly fine over the base they use on it, the mesh base. So it's really. Do you have the Dime software to run the lace maker, or are you running it alone? What you can do for My Lace Maker here is that you get the free tool shed. So it'll look pretty much like this. You won't have all this stuff up here, but it's handy to have both. So I ran it alone. I didn't have any problems. I had so much fun playing with it. So people were asking about that because I turned one of the gnomes that we worked on last week, the girl gnome, I think it was, into lace, and everyone was like, how'd you do that? Well, now you guys know. It's pretty much easy. You can take any objects and turn it into lace if it's big enough. So it's so much fun. My Lace Maker is a freestanding program. You can put it into the tool shed as well, so whatever you prefer. Like I said, I think it's absolutely fantastic to have everything at once. Like, I have all the add-on programs. I have the vintage one, which is really cool. I think Eileen Roche did a video on the thread. I don't have any of that thread yet, but quilting block, planning, quilting block embellisher. If you guys remember here, this is the bubble text word in art. And I did a bunny rabbit, and wow, that one's awesome too. I would love to have it all, but that will come later. Yeah, you can just build up on it. I started the same way as you, Teresa. I started off with my lace maker, and after almost a year and a half, almost 2 years, I had been doing other research, and I was like, yep, this one, I really like it. I was happy that, it worked all together. So that's lace. I think this is the most fantastic way to make lace. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's go do another example, and then we shall talk about something else. Frankenstein center for, we can try that. Let's look at this. Design for a shirt. Look at that. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. So easy to do. Now these are just the lace motifs moved around, and I think that's fantastic. There was just one more that I wanted to look at that caught my attention. Lace envelope, that's what that is. Lace lettering. Let's see if that's, yeah, look at this. People were doing this. Look at this one. Look at how beautiful that is. Lace monograms. I think a whole bunch of people were doing it. Isn't that neat? Isn't that cool? This one needs to be organized a little bit. But all of these things, I think this is candle wicking on it. All of these motifs, or, I remember this one. It's pretty. I could ungroup it and do different things with it if I wanted. So look, yeah, these are all separate pieces. Really fun, really easy, and I think that would be stunning on absolutely anything. How can you buy the My Lace Maker when you live in Norway? You may be able to do it online. I think the main program, you can't, the Embroidery Professional, you can't buy that online. You have to go to a dealer or whatever. But My Lace Maker, I'm pretty sure it's on the didn't Sue do a video on lace on hats? Yes, I did. And people were asking, how do you get stuff on the brim? And so I stitched out some lace, and you just glue it on. So, perfect. There's so many things you can do with it. Yeah, you can glue it or sew it on. You can put it on shoes. I'm sure there's videos about that. It's cool. But I think go check out the Dime website under software, and I think they give you prices there, and I think I don't swear by it, but I think you can purchase it online and they can send it to you digitally. Misha, yes, My Lace Maker can be purchased from the Dime site. Well, there you go. There's your answer. Don't you think this would be gorgeous on just about anything? I think people were doing these and putting them on book covers. And the wow factor is, huge. It's spectacular. So a lot of stitches. That's why it took so long to go away. But I always think Halloween and making spider things, or Christmas and making presents, and it's that. Do they have the whole alphabet? No, those were just samples of it. But I think, I can't remember. I actually really like this guy. So let's do a copy and a paste, and then I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to flip it, and rotate it a little bit. Maybe I pressed the wrong one. So that's my answer for lace. Now, I do have classes. It's Hatch. Remember not to let the brand name of the software stop you. I think Lila did something. she was playing around with lace and came up with something gorgeous after watching the video. So there's lots you can do. I just think that being able to do this with lace is spectacular. It made me so happy. I was thrilled about it. They offer a special price for the lace camouflage events, and we have noticed that when there are events and someone from the OML Embroidery University Facebook group goes, they talk to someone and everyone can get the deal because, for example, I can't go into the United States. Our borders are closed, so I can't attend one. But they're still offering the deals. So I could call that dealership and get a good deal on it. So apparently you can get pretty good deals. So don't let the prices scare you. So thank you for the answer, Sue. You are welcome. So questions. Any more questions? Someone was asking about Underlay. A lot of software, I'm going to answer it easily. A lot of software, Hatch comes to mind, E4, especially in Brilliance. When you're starting digitizing, if you pick the fabric that you're using, it will tell you the stabilizer to use, and then it sets up everything for you. So it's kind of foolproof. There goes the sound. I have excellent connection. So is it better now? I think as a failsafe. Ooh, Karina, thank you very much. I sound like a sexy robot. All right, I guess that's something. Is it better? What does it sound like down there, Don?
It's choppy.
Well, it says excellent connection.
Yeah, you don't have any warnings or anything. It must be YouTube. Because we changed the bandwidth and it should be okay. It's not saying anything now.
Didn't have an issue. You're in a fishbowl.
Kinda.
So does Don. Don is not a sexy robot.
Hey!
Alright, that's annoying. So, I think we're gonna have to change the time for this because obviously it's a busy time and, well, Don sounds really weird. Do we need to stop or can we just wait a minute?
You probably just keep going.
What are you doing?
I'll let you click on it. Alright. Nothing.
What were you gonna do? The CPU is not
I was
busy.
trying to figure out why it's. See how it's bouncing and it drops right down. I think that's YouTube.
Yeah, glorious YouTube. You just went underwater. Don't stop, Carol says.
Keep going.
Alright. It'll clear up like last time.
Yeah, it just goes in and out, unfortunately.
How annoying. Alright, so we will pick a different time for Sunset with Sue. Sounds like a Labrador panting. Oh my god, you guys are hilarious. We'll pick another time and change the time to either earlier or later, whatever works. I tried to stagger the time. I have excellent connection. I have like it's a, I don't know, studio view and it tells me like everything. Can Perfect make applique to cut files to Maker? Yep. Now I'm back. Yay! I didn't get any changes over here, so thanks. Thanks. Yeah, you can usually. I think, let's see. This one does just about everything you can think of and more, which is really nice. But I think you can take an SVG. Let's look over here. Import artwork, import bitmap, recent file. My nomies are still there in recent files. Ronag, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. Save as image is probably how you do it. You can save it as a PNG, and if you're using Cricut, then you can just do a quick trace. Brother, you can do that as well. And Silhouette, you can do it as well, and it's just click, click, done. So that's what I would do. So I like this too, special files, and this is all the things that you want. Save lace, open lace, it's pretty handy. So, okay, that said, now Cindy King had a question, and someone else had a question too. So Cindy King, I think we got through with that people learn about settings by taking apart other people's work and measuring. I don't think any of that is necessary. I don't think that's going to help you. My advice is leave all of your settings to the default unless you know why you're changing it. Oh, thank you very much, Gail. Oh, I'm glad everything's better now. Thanks, Sarah. That's my advice, because you can change the width, the density, and I think when people start playing around with density, unless you're doing a specific type of anything, you probably don't need to be. So in general terms, I don't change too many of those. I will change the pull comp sometimes. I will change the underlay, and sometimes I will. I'm not saying I never do it, but I rarely change the stitch width, the stitch length, like for a running stitch. Don does it for every design because he's doing other things. So right here, let me zoom in, and because I think a couple people were asking about that. I guess it's hard to see. Nope, that just makes it a line. So here's your stitch length. So let's see if we make it a bean, if it shows up better. Okay, so that's the stitch length. 3 is, pretty good. 2.5, 3 is what most people use. But let's go to something kooky like 5. Now you see how much longer the stitches are? I'm maybe a different color might be able to see it better. Let's try. Nope. That's a little bit better. You can see the length from one stitch to another is increased. Now that would make it a pretty darn good basting stitch. On the other hand, going the other way, Sandy, thank you very much. Look what happens if you bring it really small. Now 1.0 is outrageous. You'd be stitching on yourself. So let's put it to something a little more reasonable. Now these stitches are much smaller. So first thing, there's going to be a lot more of them. It's going to be much tighter, and I think it's going to be too tight. So there's different ways. Oh, especially as a bean stitch. Good Lord, that would be kind of terrible. Kind of terrible. Go back to standard, apply. Now, random length, you would use it if you have like a funny shape. And what it'll do is go smaller on the corners and larger on the straighter areas, and that just makes it look better, but it will automatically do that for you. So again, like I said, if you don't know why you would change the stitch width, length, anything like that, don't do it, because you could end up with really, really, really wide stitches or really small stitches, and the density on this would just be incredible. So hopefully that makes sense. Playing around with settings is next level in my book. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm not saying don't do it. You can do it if you want. It's easy enough to do. It changes the look of your embroidery for sure. Let's grab, this is just a fill stitch, and we'll just fill it, angles, good, no, apply. There we go. Fill stitches. I'm just clicking willy-nilly everywhere. And you can see that's a, that's a fill stitch. That's great. I made it crooked. I didn't do very well at all. So stitch length, let's go outrageous again. So we'll put it at 6. And you can, well, I guess that's not a great example, but you can see the stitches are longer. You can see through it a little bit more. How about we go more outrageous for the length? Now you can see it. That's a little bit better. You can see that the stitches are so long, you can see all the underlay behind it. So you don't really want to do that at all. Now, the density is right here, and if you're not careful with the density of it, you can make a real mess. So let's put the density, remember 42, because I like everything to go back. Won't longer stitches become a catch hazard? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes for fill stitches as well as satin stitches. You don't want long satin stitches. So whatever software you're using, make sure your satin stitches automatically split. And it, instead of going like one stitch all the way across, it'll come somewhere in the middle. Default tension doesn't work on my Stellaire. I have to set upper tension to -4. The bobbin thread comes through to top. Dealer says it's normal, just change tension. Is this right? I think what you could do instead of changing the top tension, so tension in an embroidery machine is a balancing game. So instead of putting the top tension to -4, you could turn the bottom tension, which is the bobbin. There's a little screw on the bottom bobbin to tighten it, and the general rule is that you should turn it like 1/4 of an inch and test it out. The best way is the I test. You just stitch a capital letter I. Some people say H, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And get it so it's, when you look on the back, you see 1/3 top color, 1/3 down the middle of the bobbin thread, and 1/3 color on the other side. So that's how I would do it. You have to remember, we had all the problems with McDreamy. It can take a few minutes to do, but get the balancing act perfect. McDreamy is all default. So instead of changing McDreamy's tension, I changed the bobbin tension. I use the same bobbins. I use pre-wounds. Remember, they're a different size. That could be a problem too. You better check. I don't know anything about a Stellaire, but the Dream machines, they have a different size bobbin than other machines. And if you don't have the right size bobbin in, it could be a problem as well. So double check that. I think they're A size, so they're actually bigger, which is nice. I have a question about the puzzle piece tutorial. You brought the first squiggly line in from your computer. Could you have drawn that on the screen in editor? You can if you want. Yeah, I don't know what squiggly line you're referring to, but I'd have to go over the video and check it out. I remembered the video. There's a couple of them. I just don't remember the details of it. So, okay, let's put this back to, back to 4. I don't think I even like that. Oh, we were on density. Hold on, let me put this crazy back to 10. and we were playing with densities. So the way I like to figure out what's going on is that I put it up or down to an outrageous number. However, you can see right here, that's what's going on. And yeah, that's not going to work, is it? So changing the stitch length, so these stitches are really long and they're really far apart. There's no density. So that's going to give you, you know, a grand total of nothing. So the density, so the length is the distance between needle penetrations. So big or small. The density is the space between the threads, sort of thing. Most software has, you know, a little diagram here that you can see. Do you see how it changes? The lines are closer together and the default was 42. And then we can play around with it. So, you know, I just really honestly just leave stuff. Okay, so with a different thing, corn, and I've got the stitch length way up high. See, that doesn't look right at all. So that's not what we want. Let's put it to something a little more reasonable. Apply? Yeah. And it's still not, you know, quite there. I think we had it at 3 to start, didn't we? Yeah. So if you're doing special effects, then that is fine. That'll work for you. So I think she meant the first squiggle line that you copied and pasted to put around all 4 lines of the puzzle piece. Yeah, I guess that is a squiggle line, because I wanted them to be the same. I think there is in the files section of the OML embroidery university Facebook group that puzzle piece image is in there, and that might make it easier for you to do. It's an awesome design. Karina did it all. She came up with it, so yay. Thank you, Karina. And I asked her if I could use that idea, and I just went crazy with it. And we did Inception puzzle pieces, so there was a puzzle piece motif inside a puzzle piece motif. There was no stopping us. It was so much fun. So thank you, Karina, for coming up with that. It was a blast. So yes, there already is an image in the group. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I put it there so everybody could work with it. So remember, when you're changing all the numbers on everything, that just make sure you know what you're doing and test it out. So it's great. So for the Stellaire person, yeah, size A, yeah. You always have to, I've noticed this on a couple of things, like in the McDreamy Facebook groups, that people are saying they're having so many troubles, and it does end up that they're using all of the wrong bobbins, and it makes a difference. So McDreamy is very special, and I think Stellaire is the new McDreamy, and they use a different size bobbin. So David, I would check and make sure you're using A's. I got an A plus. Now I get detention from Dawn. What the heck happened? Yeah, well, you tell us what the heck happened. Dawn is just a meanie. That's funny. So what were some other questions? Most of them I answered with a video that I've already done, which I hope was extremely helpful. We talked last time, the whole time, about pull compensation. So no, I'm not, he says. I use Filtech pre-wounds. They work great. I don't know what kind of pre-wounds I use, but I am far too lazy to wind a bobbin. I'm telling you, it's kind of like ironing. I did iron today and it almost killed me. Filtech, yeah, I knew what it was. So questions, bring out your questions. I answered the ones in the group that I remembered. I don't remember any more from in the group. You're not mean. We love you. I know. Jeez, don't give him a fat head though, Karina. We love him sometimes. So, come on. Ideas, questions. Dawn, do you have any questions? I asked about large applique. Well, you're gonna have to do large applique. It's Creative Kiwi does them, and she happens to do them fantastic. She does a really good job of them. It's just a matter of planning, setting out each design separately and making sure everything is held down properly, and then doing a zigzag stitch to, put them together. So, I I think they're great. I think it's just a little bit of fiddling around and practicing to do it properly. But I think it's a great idea, and the way Creative Kiwi have done them, they are perfect every time. They look fantastic, and they're really cleverly designed. So yeah, for sure, you can work on that. But it's just a mat. I just finished the Creative Kiwi Crazy Table Runner. Yeah, that's really nice. I love them. I've made several, but scared to do it on my own. Well, when I come up with new things all the time in different ways, and I think and plan it out before I put anything in stitches. So I will grab a piece of paper. There's at least 10 million sticky notes at my desk, and I will plan it out with the vision I have for the final one. And then I will take that into the computer with stitches and then figure out how to put them together. Would that be possible to do with multi-hooping, or is that a whole other rabbit hole? That is something completely different. So the idea that Carol is talking about is that you do it, say, in 3 parts, and you finish part 1 and you do part of part 2, and then you can stitch them together. So multi-hooping is not for applique. It's almost impossible to do. I'm sure that you can pull it off somehow. But in general terms, multi-hooping is mostly for just, regular designs. So I like it when you have tested different designs from different companies, so we know which ones we can trust, especially when you need a quick design. Yeah, that's I find that fun. I'm actually doing that right now. I'm so excited. I wasn't going to say anything till I put in a picture, but McDreamy was running before this, and I have the AccuQuilt system, and I finally found the artist, and it's beautiful. I don't want to tell you guys too much because I want to put a picture in, but it is multi-hooping. I'm using the biggest hoop I have on McDreamy, and I have to use it twice. So the way she's done it is amazing. And it is applique, but once I get it done, I'll show you guys what it is. And it's Sarah Vedler, and she does amazing designs, like incredible. Do you have the big AccuQuilt or the small AccuQuilt? I have the big one. I had the big cranking one, but now I have the big electric one, which is a dream come true. You can use, if you have Embrilliance, it has an add-on part that you can get quite a few of the AccuQuilt die shapes in there, and that just makes life so easy. So that's what I use different softwares for. I have a use for them. So I play around and do the shows with Perfect Embroidery Professional because it has all the amazing designs on it. and it's so much fun to use. Wilcom E4 I use for production, and Brilliance I use for AccuQuilt because it's awesome. PE Design I use for the photo stitch, and I use for sending to the machine if it's a really complicated one, and for background quilting. So everything I use, it's amazing. So I'm lucky to have that many. I forgot what the AccuQuilt is. They are dies that you can pre-cut, perfectly pre-cut fabric, and you can do like 6 pieces of fabric at once. And you can also take those pieces and stitch them in your machine. So there's squares and circles and different things like that. Or they have applique ones, so flowers. Y'all remember the cat and bat outfit I wore when I got interviewed? Yeah, that was AccuQuilt. Cat and bat is the dye. Is PE Design better for photo stitch than Hatch 2? I'm not really sure. They're both very tricky. I think when you're doing photo stitch, the best place to start is with a really, really good picture. And it's a lot of, in both the software, it's a lot of playing around and changing stuff too. Have you made any cross-stitch designs? No, I have not done that yet. I have stitched out maybe 2 I got from Embroidery Library. Now, Embroid, I have the cross-stitch, but I don't... It's an extra module. I don't really know a whole lot about it and how it's supposed to look, so it is on my list to do it. Okay, she wants to know how to digitize a folded, twisted leaves. Well, unless I have a picture of it, that's kind of hard to do. You just have to make it go thin in the middle, I guess. I don't really know. That's why I haven't answered it. It's just impossible for me to answer, how to do something like that. And plus, that's not really the questions that we're doing. If you find a picture of a twisted leaf, I think it would depend on colors, and you could also do stitch direction to give it a bit of a look of movement. So that's the best I can say about that. My table runner that I just finished is multi-hooping. Yeah, isn't that great? And like I said, Creative Kiwi does it so well. It's awesome. So, are there any other questions? Anyone at all? Should I go back into the university and see if there's any questions on there? If there's a way of doing it with the piping stitch, and you're more in node mode, so they say. Yeah. Can I come over and play with your AccuQuilt? Yeah. AccuQuilt's so much fun. I made a rag quilt with big squares, and it just seriously didn't take me long at all. I did a Halloween one, and it was awesome. So, yes, come over. I would love to share my AccuQuilt with people. It's hard to explain. People who aren't embroiderers or, digitizers or whatever, they don't really understand my excitement. But yeah, it's fun to do. So I'm just going to put a shape on there because it kind of feels weird not having anything on my screen. I am answering questions, but I got nothing to show you. So I'll just put some hexes up there and we'll call it that. I understand. My hands hurt. Yeah, it's a pretty good workout. Like, I had to cut out like 300 squares. With the electric one, it's just push a button, there it goes, and it's really good. With the crank one, it's like, yeah, it hurts a little bit, I'll agree. I've cut fabric on my Cricut, and it works pretty well. Yup. If I don't have a die For my AccuQuilt, I will pick the Cricut first. I love the Cricut with the rotary blade. I also have the Brothers Scan and Cut, and that is really groovy when you want to fussy cut anything because you scan it in, and it's awesome. I like it. Sexy robot back. Oh, jeez. It's very annoying. I feel that it's wrecking our sunset with Sue. It's very annoying, for sure. So, Don, do you have any digitizing questions? We can ask Don if he's going to do more minis for us. That's funny. Mark had just put up a little robot. So, at least I'm sexy while I'm a robot. How annoying. I do apologize, guys. We do have the highest of high-tech equipment, but there's no accounting for YouTube. So, how to remove jump stitches between objects that are not close together. You should have settings that will allow you to set the trimming. If it's over, like an E4, for example, if it's over a certain amount, then it will automatically put a trim in instead of a jump. It'll only jump for small spaces. So people ask that about lettering. How do you get rid of jump stitches between lettering? And the answer is you could put trims in there if you wanted, but what a mess. What a mess. If you really don't believe me, then stitch out a word that has the jump stitches and then put trims everywhere you need and look at the back because it's going to be a little bit of a mess. So you should, and your machine should automatically trim it. In this software, you can put on to show stitch in, show or hide stitch in. Where is it? Oh, I probably don't have anything set up. But you can show where the trims are going to be on it, and you can set them up. But it's a setting, and if it's longer than, however long that you want, it'll automatically trim. So hopefully that'll answer the question. Oh, would love to have the Be Happy alphabet done. Yeah, Don created that himself because I was looking for a swirly font, and he says, "I'll make that." And it's like, okay, cool. So yeah, you set it up in settings, general. In this software, it is under general, which is here. No, resequence, help. There we go. Tools. There we go. And here's where you have all of your choices. Make sure your autosave is set up for sure. So here we go. Activate trim if stitch is longer than. Well, 20 millimeters. I'm going to put that down to like 10 maybe. I hit enter and it closed. So let's do that again. But that's where the settings are for it. So split up jumps, auto split new. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Auto split new satins longer than. Okay, so it's going to do it all the time. And I think that's really handy. So check out your general options, and I'm sure you'll find what you need. Curve points as default. No, I find that annoying. Highlights, auto backdrop. No, there's nothing else. Auto based if you want it. Remember too, the fancy machines can do a whole lot as well. So now we're talking about color palettes. There is so much in this one. Let's see. Look at this. So all of these are in here. And what I like is that, look, they even have King Star. Okay, are those all metallics? Inquiring mind wants to know. Asking for a friend. I don't know if they're all metallics, but I think there's like everything. This is one of the biggest actually that I've ever seen. Usually there's, 5 or 10. Oh, I just noticed they had the brother embroidery one. Cool. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'm pretty sure I read in the manual that you can. But, you could just look and rename one if you wanted. Look, you can search. But I think that's every thread, like, ever. I love the ones that have the variegated thread. It's not going to be an accurate representation of what it is, but it just gives you an idea, and I think it's really cool. When you are digitizing and want very small lettering, what do you recommend? Okay, small lettering is really hard to do. What I recommend is using a micro font, and it makes all the difference between night and day and quality. So let me show you. Embroidery and apply. The most important thing when you're doing fonts is, it's still off a little bit. When you hover over, or you have to look it up in your manual, it tells you the recommended height, and you don't want to go smaller or bigger than that. So this one, the smallest is 0.24, so we're at 0.79, so let's do 0.24. That's recommended, and that goes pretty small. However, I want to point out a couple things here. When we look, you can see all the trims in here. By the way, it's trimming it in between. I just turn those off because I find it distracting. So what I have here, let's take that off. Okay, so the difference is these are, if you step back, the M is almost closed. So I don't really like that. I think let's do a copy, let's do a paste, and let's pick a micro font, and I'm going to show you the difference, and I'm going to show you how small we can make it. I just got to find them. Got lots of fonts in this. Got everything. Monogram font. There. Arial small. Let's just go basic. Arial small. So that doesn't look too small. However, if you're looking at it, it does look pretty clear. That's set at the same size, so I'm going to hover, and a recommended height range is 0.16, so that is a fair amount smaller. So let's do this, and look how clear that is. Okay, and that's like half the size of it. If you zoom in, you can see it's pretty good, and you know what? They stitch out lovely. So with lettering, I think it's really important to use the proper lettering to make it work. So yeah, it could kern. Yes, 60 weight thread and a small needle to embroider small lettering. R&K Embellish makes lots of colors that stitch great. Yeah, I'm too lazy to change thread and needles. McDreamy and I don't play that. Ha! But you could do this with regular thread, and they really stitch out well. You can kern the letters too. So kerning means you change the spacing between them. So it is possible to move them further apart. This M, though, when it's stitched out, is still going to be quite closed. Now, I know there's only a tiny space between here, but I think you'd be able to see it better. It's cool. It works really well. I'm just seeing if there's any more things we can change on the lettering. Probably. But micro fonts are where it's at. Believe me when I tell you, it is a lot of heartache trying to do small lettering. Just so much. It's so hard. It never works. If you do this and you use a 60 weight thread and a different needle, yeah, boy, would you get fantastic results. You would be totally surprised with that. So that's my recommendation. And it's Alicia's recommendation that you use a fine thread and a different needle. So I purchased Anita's quick applique packet and then discovered I only have a 5x7. Can I make it smaller? From 5x7 to what? I don't know. My machine won't stitch micro fonts. Like, do you have the actual micro fonts, or are you just making a font smaller? Because you always have to stick within the regulations that the font was created on. Because that's interesting that it won't do it. I get micro bird nests. It doesn't like something that you're doing. A bird nest is caused by too many needle penetrations in the same spot. So maybe it's the thing. Love the 60 weight thread for small fonts. Yeah, apparently it works really, really well and makes all the difference. I've purchased designs with micro fonts and they just tangle. All right, Misha, I'm going to send you an actual micro font to stitch out. I'd be curious to see if it works. Because some people say micro font and they've just taken like Arial and made it small without change and took off the pull comp, which just makes a very small font that won't really stitch out. So it's an experiment. If you're up to it, Misha, I'll send you a proper micro font and see if it works. So dealer said not enough bells and whistles on my machine, but I will definitely try what you send. Yeah, I mean, don't break your machine over it. Could you use the dime tool shed to change AG designs? That's a negative, because with the Anita Good designs, you only get stitch files. So with the tool shed, we're talking about doors, which by the way is being revealed tomorrow, so watch Eileen Roche. She gives you the working file, and that's why you were able to change it. If you take a large design and bring it into small with a stitch file, it doesn't have the editing capabilities to fix everything. So you're going to have density issues. So no, and no software, don't believe anyone, no software will do it unless you have the working file. So working file is made for editing. Stitch file, like PES, HUS, all those ones, those are made for stitching, not editing. While you can, I think, safely adjust it a little bit, you can't do it a whole lot. So, yeah. Toolshed is a habit of distorting stitch files in certain formats. Well, yeah, because you're not supposed to be adjusting stitch files. Oh, you mean when we... Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't read it properly. Not sure why, but glitch, I guess. It changes it a little bit. Yeah, we've had problems with that. So, yes, so remember, I need a bigger machine. Yeah, they don't give out the working files. The only ones that I've seen do that is Eileen Roche, and that enables you to take a 6x10 design and reduce it to 5x7. I would not reduce it anymore. I happen to do the 5x7 ones every month that they're on, just to show you guys that it will stitch out beautifully because it's using the working file, the native file to it. So I guess we're over time here a little bit. We did start late anyways because we are having technical difficulties. I hope this went well. I'm not sure if it went as well uh, as the other one, but we'll keep doing them. We'll just have more questions. I think we got into it at the end. So, oh, Karina needs a bigger one. Okay, thanks, Sarah. I don't think the Norseman's here. I think he likes the stitch out ones and bring in the gremlins. So, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys like this Q&A. I like to try to do the Q&As every once in a while. I think it's helpful. Remember, tomorrow, Eileen Roche is going to be releasing the August door, which I'm so excited. And Saturday we'll be stitching it at our usual time, 10 o'clock. Be there or be square. And Sunday we'll be doing one of the last few Anita Good designs. So Misha, I will send you, and anyone else who wants to try a proper micro font to see the difference, I will send that over to you so you can play around. Hashtag dime door, yeah. So I'll see you guys watching Eileen Roche tomorrow so we can get all excited about the door. We rock with the dime doors. OML Embroidery has a fantastic showing for them. So let's keep up the hard work, and I'm so excited. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you for a stitch along on Saturday. Thanks everyone. Bye.